Richard Wiles, El Paso County Sheriff, and again, I appreciate the opportunity, Senators and Chairman, to be here today regarding this issue. You know, this really started some time ago, I think, when Border Patrol was short-staffed, and there was a move to try to find some resource to help Border Patrol in combating illegal immigration. But they've overcome that, and I don't even think we should be having the discussion, with all due respect. The Border Patrol, again, has more than doubled since 2004. I think Sheriff West from Hudspeth County said it best when he said Border Patrol agents seem to be tripping over each other. There's so many out there. And to have local and county law enforcement engage in the practice of enforcing federal immigration law, I think, is inappropriate. And I agree with you, Senator Garcia. That's the one that I used about IRS some time ago, is what's next? The county sheriff's going to be knocking on your door asking you to pay your federal income taxes. The federal government knows its job, takes on the liability, takes on the costs, and disperses that cost nationwide to protect our borders. To have local and county law enforcement enforce federal immigration law is going to impact our relationship with our communities that we've spent millions of federal and state dollars in grants to accomplish. We want victims to step forward. We want complainants to step forward. Witnesses to other crimes, we want them to step forward without fear that their local or county law enforcement is going to work to help deport them. And I do think that we need an understanding that law enforcement officers have a lot of power and authority that this body gives them to do their jobs. And they have a lot of discretion. It's my job as the sheriff to narrow that discretion in compliance with what my community wants. And if this bill passes, it takes away my ability to direct the work product of my employees. If I'm not doing what my community wants, I will not get reelected. That's where the rubber meets the road. To force me to do or to allow my employees to have unlimited discretion in one particular issue over another, I think, is inappropriate and really steps on my ability to ensure that my community remains a safe community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff. Just one, if I may, before I don't want to hold you here forever.
Oh, no, I'm good.
If your community, I'm not saying they've done this, but if the community asks you to set a policy that is contravening to state or federal, what is the proper response?
Well, obviously, federal and state law certainly take precedence over the community's requests because we have an obligation to enforce the law that's passed by the state. You know, the federal issue is completely different, though, because federal law has federal agents to enforce that law. So while we work with our federal counterparts, we do not enforce federal law. Now, there are some that cross over. Well, not cross over, but there's a corresponding state law. For instance, you rob a bank. That's a federal law, and it's a state. It could be armed robbery or robbery. And typically, if the feds investigate that, they prosecute it, and we do not expend the resources of the state in re-prosecuting it. We don't need to take on that burden. It's truly a national issue, and it interferes with local and counties' law enforcement. Main job is for community and public safety.
Okay. And you know, El Paso, we keep reiterating to everyone that will listen to us, is the safest city in the country. And has been designated as such for a number of years. And in large measure, I think that, Mr. Chairman, is attributable to the community policing program that you and others before you initiated in El Paso, and you've been very successful in doing that. Tell us about the role that immigrants play in reporting crime, in willing to step forward and testify on crimes against them in the community, whether you feel that that would be curtailed as a result of this type of legislation.
Yes, sir. We have in the past heard stories where undocumented immigrants become targeted victims solely because they are here undocumented, and there's a threat that if they report it, that they will be deported. And so that starts a reluctance on the part of the victim to report to local and county if, in fact, that were to be carried through. So we have in El Paso, both in the police department and the sheriff's department, drawn a clear line between responsibilities and jurisdictions, and the public understands that our concern is community and public safety, and in doing that we need the cooperation of everybody that resides in our county to step forward as a victim so that the offender does not victimize another person, and as a witness. If we had an undocumented immigrant who witnessed a crime and felt that they were going to get deported and they wouldn't report that crime, that could have a tremendous impact on our ability to keep El Paso safe. So we definitely do have policies and training in place to help ensure that our employees know where that line is, and that we work with our community to maintain El Paso as the safest large city over 500,000 in the United States. And it's due to those efforts, I believe, including this one here, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Under the bill as drafted, would a rogue police officer be able to question the immigration status of a victim of a crime, and even the person reporting the crime that is happening, just as long as there is an ongoing investigation?
Well,
and under the bill, that's the first, would anyone who is an employee, even a county clerk, who isn't a law enforcement officer, be allowed, under page 1, line 12 of the bill, be allowed to ask the immigration status? That's something I brought up in a prior statement that I made. If you could answer those two questions, I'd be grateful.
Okay. Well, the concern is, of course, I think it talks about detention and probable cause, and those are things that can be fast-moving in a law enforcement investigation. And those are my concerns, Senator, and I am glad that those are your concerns also. And we have to have the ability, as CEOs of those law enforcement agencies, to set policy and control the discretion of our employees to ensure that we're doing what's right and what the community expects. And so those are my concerns about this bill.
Thank you.